Muting myself. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse, baby. What a fantastic day. I'm still riding on the high of this Fantastic Four trailer. I don't know about anyone else in here, but damn. Possibly the most anticipated, the biggest trailer release of this year. I don't think there is going to be a bigger trailer release than the Fantastic Four trailer, and Marvel did not miss with this one. So I want to know in the chat, everyone who's in here, let me know what you guys thought of the trailer. Did anyone on the West Coast wake up for the trailer? Did anyone wake up at 4 a.m. for this trailer only to get a trailer for the trailer from Marvel Studios, which was pretty cool. I really did like the countdown that they had. It made it feel very real, very space oriented. But yeah, I know a lot of people were not happy about it. and I honestly do feel bad for all the West Coasters out there because waking up that early is not easy. But oh my god, guys, I was talking about Nikki. I was talking to Nikki about the trailer all day, and I was like, man, I just want to do a live stream just to talk about it because there was really so much in this trailer, just like beyond like plot stuff. There was very little plot stuff shown outside of what we already knew. Fantastic Four, Galactus, there were the retro futuristic 1960s setting on an alternate Earth. Like that stuff was we all knew already, but there were so many cool like character beats. It really felt like a love letter to the entire nearly 100-year history of the Fantastic Four. And there's just so much I want to talk to you guys about. So yeah, it's going to be a really fun live stream. You guys can just drop your questions down below. It's going to be very interactive today. I'm here by myself. Nikki's not around, but yeah, I'd love to know what everyone thought because I'm still riding the high of that trailer all day. Let's see. What's up, Brian? We have someone here. I don't know if you guys have heard of her, Eglor Nikki. Yeah, it's fine. But we got Brian here. Trailer is fantastic. I'll never get tired of hearing that. I'll never get tired of hearing people call the Fantastic Four fantastic. It's such a dad joke, but I love it. It's one that I really love. That's not a really high bar. Justin, you're setting a pretty low bar there. I think we're going to definitely hit that. But as people start to roll in, I kind of want to watch the trailer again with you guys, even though we have our trailer reaction up on the channel already. Me and Nikki did one first thing this morning, East Coast time. So I'd if you guys want to see our true first reaction, you guys can go check that out on the channel. But yeah, when more people jump in, we're gonna watch it again and we're gonna kind of break it down. We're gonna talk about it. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts or you have any questions about the Fantastic Four that you want me to answer, drop them below because damn, it's just like it was as something like I really do love the Fantastic Four. They're probably some of my favorite Marvel characters, and they might be my favorite Marvel team in the grand scheme of things. It's a tie between them and the X-Men. But listen, some days they take the lead because Jonathan Hickman's run on the Fantastic Four was so monumental in my resurgence into Marvel Comics as a whole. To this day, it's still one of my favorite comic books of all time, and it definitely made me go back and read the earliest Fantastic Four stuff back when that first came out. So I read a lot of the Lee Kirby stuff. I read a lot of the Byrne stuff, and now preparing for the movie, I'm rereading a lot of that, and I getting to remember why I fell in love with these characters all over again. And man, the Fantastic Four have some of the best stories in all of Marvel, and that's not even a question. Between there's this old adage, and I said it in our trailer reaction, that the first 100 or so issues, 150 issues of the Fantastic Four original comic book run from Lee and Kirby really define the Marvel Universe. And if you go back and actually read it or see all of the things that were introduced in that first initial run, you'll realize that it's kind of true. There's some really interesting concepts introduced and built upon that are some of the staples of the Marvel Universe to this day. You have Namor, the Inhumans, the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe was built up through Galactus, Silver Surfer, the Watcher. All of these concepts were introduced in the Fantastic Four comic book. Black Panther, like all of these super iconic characters, super iconic concepts, all stemmed from Lee and Kirby and the Fantastic Four. So, it is really interesting that we have this movie that feels like a fresh start for the MCU aesthetically and design wise, ushering in a new age. It's building up to the Avengers movies. It's definitely creating something and building upon the Marvel lore that the MCU has already provided. And I'm so excited to just have this Marvel's first family usher in the new era for me. It's honestly crazy. Um, oh, absolutely. I mean, the X-Men definitely. I think the X-Men more so than the Fantastic Four for a long period of time. But yeah, I mean, the Fantastic Four, it was so funny, right? Because the Fantastic Four was created as a response to DC's Justice Society. The DC introduced a superhero team, a team up of superheroes, and Marvel was like, "Hey, Stan, we got to do something about this. Can you whip us up a team really quick?" And the whole like impetus of the Fantastic Four is Stanley going, I want to create a team for Marvel, but I don't just want it to be a team of superheroes that are kind of thrown together. I want it to mean more than that. So he made them a family. He made them a very close knit group. And that's really what kind of launched Marvel into the silver age of their silver age of comic books. You know, it was the introduction of the Fantastic Four. But yeah, we got more people joining in. What's up? I mean, listen, I've been seeing this, and I disagree. I strongly disagree with that. I have 4K stills from the trailer that I'll pull up after we watch it and we talk about it. But you have to realize, like, I think people are using that phraseology too much. I think people are using the phraseology, "Oh, that's bad CGI," or "That CGI looks bad," to describe something that they just don't like. And it's okay to not like things. It's okay to not like the way the Thing looks in this movie, because the way the Thing looks in this movie is very different than his previous looks in live action. This is very much a visual representation of the Jack Kirby look for the Thing in the Fantastic Four comic books. And it's also a lot, it's very heavily like Alex Ross inspired. If you go look at like some of the more recent Alex Ross Thing design, like the Alex Ross Fantastic Four run, and the way that he drew the Thing, this version of that character, it reminds me very heavily of that look as well. So listen, it's not going to be for everyone. And when I saw it, I'm like, this looks really good. But I was pretty sure that people were going to get turned off by it, and that's totally fine. Listen, people are allowed to have opinions, right? We're all very opinionated people. But to say the CGI is bad, I disagree, because even though the movie is still months and months away, I think the CGI in that trailer looked really, really good. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as we get into the trailer, as more people jump in. But man, I'm seeing so many people come back in here. We've got what's up? I just love that name, Optimism Prime. Oh, that's Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's definitely over exaggeration. A lot of things going on. It's a lot easier to do this when Nikki's monitoring the comments and she's pulling them up. But you know, hey, we're practicing, baby. This is the first solo live stream. Just waiting for some more people to get in. We have like 43, we're fluctuating between like 43 and 45 people watching across all the different platforms right now. So that's cool. But yeah, we're just talking Fantastic Four and other things. If you guys have questions about other things, I'll be sure to answer that later on. If you want me to interrupt the Fantastic Four of it all and ask a question, you could always super chat or donate, and we'll pull those up immediately. We have Nikki moderating in the chat tonight, so she's gonna help me out and let me know if I'm missing something. But yeah, we're starting with Fantastic Four, and we're gonna stay on that for a long time because, damn guys, it's so weird, right? Because it is this July we have this battle between Superman and Fantastic Four, right? We have this big face-off, our DC versus Marvel, and people are drawing sides, and tribalism is at its all-time worst, I think, in the comic book community. But for me, as a movie fan and as someone who grew up reading both DC and Marvel comics, I'm looking at July and I'm going, this is going to be the best year for movies in a long time, because no matter what, we're going to get two of the best looking superhero movies, the most anticipated superhero movies of the last decade, dropping 2 weeks apart from each other. And guess what? Whoever wins, we all win. As comic book fans, as movie fans, we're all winning this year. It's going to be a fantastic year for that. So without further ado, I think we're going to just pop up the trailer and we're going to go into it. We're going to watch it again, and then we're going to pull up some stills and we're going to talk about it. Are you guys ready? Because I don't care. It's happening. So it doesn't matter if you're ready or not. Let's do it. Oh my God. I'm so excited to watch this thing again. I could watch this trailer like 100 million times. But here we go, guys. Let's go. Hope everyone's ready. Just lowering this volume a little bit. All right. Let's go. Oh, wait. I should probably put headphones on. That's a good idea. I'm going to slap my headphones on so we don't get echo. But then, we're going to watch that trailer. All right. Let's do it. Love that. Yeah. There's no sound? Do you guys have sound? Or is it just Iron America? Let me know. We'll restart it. No sound? All right. We're going back. We're going back. I must not have shared sound. It's okay, guys. This is what you're here for. You tell me. You let me know. Okay, guys. We should have audio now. All right. Let's do it. One more time. Let's do it. Let me know if there's sound this time. There should be.
Building. We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming? Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Oof.
Okay. Okay, is this guy good or what?
I love it. That's such a, like, that's so New York to me.
Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip.
Just want a little bit of zip, you know?
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
I hope that's Yancey Street. I hope that's Yancey Street.
Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock.
Oh.
Johnny is Johnny.
I love it.
Right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Damn, man. It's just like...
As a family.
And oh my God, chills. It's so good. It's so good, guys. It's so good. And like Nikki said it up here, that Giacchino score is iconic. This is something that me and Nikki have been gushing about since San Diego Comic-Con, since the reveal at San Diego Comic-Con. When the fact that they had the score while filming and it was that good was like, damn. It not only is it instantly recognizable, instantly iconic, but it's gonna be so synonymous with the Fantastic Four. That little like Fantastic Four, like it just gets you so in the mood, and it somehow perfectly encapsulates the visual aesthetic of this film as well. It feels very throwback, but at the same time iconic and very what's the word I'm looking for? Very grandiose and big in scale, because we're dealing with pretty big, like large scale villains in this movie. Just what a fantastic score. But yeah, we're gonna get into this. Yeah, he is. He's doing that little like that old talkie accent. Transatlantic is what it's actually called. But I'm trying to think of the slang for it. I know there's a slang term for it, but it's fine. I'm doing like 7 different things at once right now, guys. You know what? That is true, but I think the fandom has come around to H.E.R.B.I.E. I think H.E.R.B.I.E is more celebrated now because it's nostalgia, right? It's when H.E.R.B.I.E was first introduced, H.E.R.B.I.E was not well accepted by the community, by the fandom, because he was essentially taking the place of one of the most highest profile members, Johnny Storm, who is most people's favorite. He's my favorite member of the Fantastic Four. As much as I love the Thing, and I think some days it would really come down to a fight between who's my favorite, Ben or Johnny. I'm just so Johnny coded that I just love Johnny. I think that's why fans really gave him a hard time at first. But I think the fandom as a whole really came around to good old Herbs. To good old Herbs. But let's look at some stills. Let's go slide by slide. And we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about this because I think you're right, Brian. I do think that he'd be playing Red Ghost because that's the only Fantastic Four villain that I could think of. I've been thinking about this for hours that he could be playing based off his appearance. And that's a cool villain. Let's share screen. We're going to pull this up. We're going to pull the stills up. And we're just going to go, guys. We're just going to go. We're going to look at some stuff. We are going to see what we see. And yeah, we're starting. Let's look at that. First and foremost, we have this visage, this view of Galactus that is absolutely insane. One, not only does it show you the scale of this movie, it shows you how big of a threat Galactus is, as his just silhouette just eclipses the Isle of Manhattan. But if you look at the skyline, if you look at all of the buildings, you can tell that this is definitely a different universe's Manhattan, you know? That's a good one. I like that. But like, look at the shapes of these buildings. This is definitely a different New York, a different 1960s New York than the one that we're used to in the MCU, as well as just the regular world. Like, if you look at these buildings, they're very clearly different. There's a lot more of a rounded aesthetic, whereas Manhattan has a very pointed, jaggy, rectangular aesthetic, especially during the 60s. And on this planet, it looks to be more rounded. It looks to be more spherical. It looks to be more what we imagine like the Jetsons future looked like. It's very Jetsons inspired, the architecture. Speaking of Hanna-Barbera, you know, that's part of that. Then we have Vanessa Kirby. I cannot wait for Vanessa Kirby to really give us a proper iteration of Sue Storm, right? Because I think the Sue Storm that a lot of people are familiar with is the Jessica Alba Sue Storm, which very, very barely scratched the surface of that character. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but Sue is such a important character in the overall grand scheme of the Marvel Universe. She is essentially one of the first mother figures in comic books. She was fighting intergalactic threats as a pregnant woman, as a mother, and I think that in and of itself is very powerful. But beyond that, Sue is just insanely powerful personality-wise, as well as power set-wise. And this film seems to be giving us a more nuanced take on Sue that's true to the comic books. And that I'm really excited to see from Vanessa Kirby. And yes, as a fellow New Yorker, I could also say that that's kind of what we're saying. She is. Now there's two mothers. It's gonna be like a mother team up between her and Wanda, right? The two mothers. That's the MontyVerse of madness. Oh my God! Marvel H.E.R.B.I.E. Doctor Strange 3. Doctor Strange in the MontyVerse of madness. Yeah, she's kind of a big deal, right? She's kind of a pretty big deal in terms of the Marvel Universe. So I'm really excited to see more of that. Then we have, of course, Johnny Malks. We have the Malkovich, who definitely looks like Red Ghost. I wish I had more time to prepare for this stream because I would have had some comic book stuff to kind of reference with you guys and put side by side, but this was really all impromptu. Maybe I'll do some breakdown videos and I'll do some shorts, and we can really kind of like dive deep into the comic aesthetic of some of these characters. But yeah, if you look at Malkovich and then if you look up the character of the Red Ghost, you can see that that is essentially how he appears in the comic books. And it's really interesting with how much the marketing so far and the trailer has emphasized the space exploration of the Fantastic Four. I think that introducing this character makes sense in how the story's playing out, because Red Ghost is I think he is a Russian space space works in the Russian space program, and he's also kind of trying to get to the moon. He's trying to get to space. He's trying to, and especially after the Fantastic Four have done it, have gone to space, he's even more determined and more aggressive into getting into space. And he also has his monkey sidekicks, which is also cool. And over the years, he has been a part of a bunch of different villain groups, including the Intelligentsia. But I know what a lot of you guys are thinking, because I'm sure the only Intelligentsia you know is the one from She-Hulk, and it's the Soviet Union. There we go. Thank you for the save, Optimism Prime. But yeah, it makes sense in terms of like characters, because we know the main villain is Galactus. So if there are other villains in this movie, I do think they're going to be like montage villains. And he's a good character to use as a villain that's not really, he's more serves as an antagonistic force than a true villain in the sense of this movie. So I think that's going to be his role. I think he's going to be a little bit bitter at the Fantastic Four, and he's going to kind of throw a monkey wrench into things. We may see them defeat him. I think the movie's going to open up with a montage of them defeating different iconic Fantastic Four villains. So I think we'll see him suited up in that scene. We're probably going to see some version of the Mole Man there, some version of different kaiju-esque monsters that the Fantastic Four have faced at multiple points in their career. But I think he's going to serve as definitely a side plot antagonistic role in the film. Oh, we have Ben Grimm. We have the Thing. I love these suits, and we'll talk about that more as we get to the suits. But this shot in particular, paired with some other shots in the film, I do think are from the movie's opening, perhaps. It could be from the opening, could be from the climax, but I do think this is going to be a part of an opening that definitely references the first issue of the Fantastic Four comic book, where they fight a monster in the middle of Manhattan. I think that's how the film's going to open. It's going to show the Fantastic Four are already a team, already a unit, and they're going to take down a monster very quickly. And I think that's part of this montage, this sequence, if you will. It kind of looks like it based off of some stuff we see later as well. And then we have Johnny. I mean, just, it's really cool how they didn't show us any like upfront shots of it, but I love the way that they're shooting the flying in this movie. Not only, I mean, because there's only so many ways you can do a man on fire, and that's definitely what that looks like. But we already saw from promotional images and posters that they are going to be doing the 1960s fire look as well, with all the lines, with the black lines going down his chest when he's in the flame on mode. So that's really, really cool. But I just love, if you guys can see like these little particles. So when he flies, and this is brilliant. This is brilliant cinematography, brilliant decisions by Matt Shakman, the director of this movie. When he flies, he actually kicks up debris, and it fogs and it distorts the camera lens. It dirties the camera lens, which I think is so cool. It's such a nice little touch. And a lot of people wouldn't have the, for lack of a better word, balls to do that in a movie like this. And it contrasts the clean look that the rest of the film has. And I think that's really cool, because there's so many like different contrasting points in this trailer visually, and I think character-wise, that I just love that. It's kind of like, because that's Johnny, right? Johnny's rock and roll. He's dirty. He's not afraid to just do shit. I think that visually represents that very well. Oh, cool. What's up, dude? That's awesome that you joined the Discord, Jesse. Great. That's fun. If anyone's watching and you haven't joined the Discord, Nikki posted the link, and Mod Nikki tonight posted the link down in the chat. So, you know, I would love that. I would really like that. I would like to see. It's tough because I don't think Marvel wants to touch them. I think Marvel wants to kind of wait until people forget about the TV show, which was terrible. I watched it and it was not good. But I think the Inhumans deserve a lot better than that. And they're tied so closely to the Fantastic Four that maybe down the line, maybe after Secret Wars, we can get a new version of that. Crystal plays a major role in the life of the Fantastic Four, especially Johnny. So, you know, I would love to see her show up at some point. Oh, that's awesome, Iron. That's cool. Thanks for joining. Yeah, they were. And then there was that whole like that whole big turf war between Marvel Studios and Marvel Television. No, it wasn't Marvel Television at the time. It was Ike Perlmutter when Kevin Feige basically said like, "Hey, we're doing too many things wrong. We have to figure something out." And they sent Ike Perlmutter to kind of run the TV division of Marvel, and that's when we got the Inhumans went from being a movie to a television show, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. They took a character like Black Bolt, who's really cool and such a fun character in the comic books. Not really fun, but such an important character in the comic books. And they really kind of dumbed the Inhumans down for TV in a way that is insulting to the audience and the characters. So yeah, hopefully we can see them done right. They did for 5 seconds. Remember, not only he was super badass and he was definitely truer to Black Bolt in that movie, but remember, he also dies in one of the dumbest ways possible, essentially killed by Reed Richards' hubris, which is kind of ironic that we're talking about it now. Yeah, but that was it. As soon as they did that in episode 1, I think that was episode 1 or the beginning of episode 2, I was like, yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I think you missed an H somewhere, but besides that, pretty damn close. Pretty damn close, dude. And I think we're going to get him. I think as we build the cosmic side, if you introduce Nova and the Nova Corps in a more predominant role in the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe, I think we'll get closer to Annihilus and the Annihilation Waves. In the future, I hope that Marvel's able to kind of separate events like they used to do in the comic books, where we'd have big cosmic events and we'd have like Earth events separated, so we wouldn't have to have these giant Avengers movies that have to kind of deal with both sets of storylines. And I hope that when they start doing that, Annihilus is what they take the cosmic side and they do that with their cosmic event. Yikes. You're asking me hard questions that I don't want to answer. They were both pretty big. I liked the acting performances in Secret Invasion way better than Inhumans. I think the performances in Secret Invasion were actually pretty good for what the actors were given. I think Sam Jackson in particular had some amazing scenes, as well as just the whole cast, I think did extremely well with the material that they were given. Ben Mendelsohn as Talos was also really great. So for that reason alone, I'm going to have to tip the scales to Secret Invasion. I think it has a lot better acting performances there. And there's stuff I like about both shows. I think Anson Mount was a really good choice for Black Bolt, and I would love to see him come back at some point again and just kind of own that role. But, you know, hopefully. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. The Fantasticar. Man, look at this thing go. It's I was really curious when we saw the tease of it in the San Diego Comic-Con presentation, when they brought it out on stage and they had it on a wire, or they had it on a like a gimbal arm, and they had it flying down from the ceiling. That was really cool. And then to see it here functioning in like car mode with the 1960s wheels on it is really cool. I want to see. It's just a really cool design. It's very of the time, while at the same time looking very spacecraft-esque. It's just a really cool look for the Fantasticar. Instead of just being like a oval shape, like an egg shape, not an egg shape, but more of a just flat oval shape that we're used to seeing. We already got the design in Deadpool anyway, Deadpool and Wolverine. So I really like how everything, because that's what makes this movie so exciting, right? It's not that things are in here just to be in here. Like, you know, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer introduced a Fantasticar in that film just to kind of introduce it and to make some marketing money from Dodge. Oh my God, that whole Hemi thing was pretty cringe. But I feel like the things that are in this movie not only are paying homage to the comic books, but are also factoring into the film and overall aesthetic that Matt Shakman's going for. So yeah, we're getting the Fantasticar, but it's going to be Shakman's version of the Fantasticar that fits in his design aesthetic, and that's what I really like. Uh, bro, yes, this car is swaggy AF. Oh my god, this we have to go back to because this is something that really stuck out to me, right? And we're gonna talk about this more as we kind of move past the stills of the thing. But this look right here, these kids, I think that these kids are going to be Yancey Street residents. May even be part of the Yancey Street gang, which is recurring characters in the Fantastic Four comic book series. That, especially the earlier Fantastic Four comic book series, that were essentially just people who lived on Yancey Street, where Ben Grimm is from, and who kind of just busted his chops for kind of moving out and becoming this big famous celebrity superhero. Very New York, and it was very cute, and it was very they had this very aggressive, loving relationship, and they pulled a lot of pranks on him and did some stupid things. But I think that that's what these kids might be a representation of. I think this might be a version of the Yancey Street gang, or at least kids that live on Yancey Street, because the fictional street, Yancey Street, plays such an important role in the life of Benjamin J. Grimm that I can't see us not touching on that in a movie that seems to be focusing a lot on his internal character development. And just keep that in mind, the fact that you see these kids wearing thing masks and that he's become so embraced by the public and he's become a celebrity, because we're definitely going to talk about that later on, and how that relates to the overall character of the Thing, who's a very complex and misunderstood character. But let's keep moving. This shot is so good. It's just one of the other things that's so great about this trailer. Oh god, the Fantasticar. The Fantasticar, because one, they're not trying to sell me a Fantasticar. The Fantasticar is not in this movie simply so that they could sell me a Fantasticar. I think the Fantasticar actually serves a purpose. So that's why we're going for the Fantasticar right away. Oh my god, do you want to know what's so funny? I even posted this on Twitter. During the hour-long trailer prelude, there were so many people spamming Marvel Rivals alts in the chat during the build up to the trailer that I was just laughing my ass off. There was just Bucky's again. Better stop that vehicle. Time to put on a show, and just spamming it in the chat. And it's just so fun because this is just great synergistic marketing, right? Because you have Marvel Rivals, and Marvel Rivals is being used now to promote comic books in comic book shops, which I think is really cool and is a really fantastic way to get younger people, especially, into reading comic books, especially about the more obscure characters like Squirrel Girl, like Moon Knight. So that was really fun. And then you have people, I saw so many people on the internet today saying like, man, I've never been more excited to go and read Marvel comics or watch Marvel stuff than the past 6 months, because I'm playing Marvel Rivals, and that got me hyped for the Fantastic Four, because the new season is all about the Fantastic Four and Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, and now I get to watch this movie in July. So I think it's insanely well synergistic marketing on Marvel's part to kind of hype up the Fantastic Four the way they did in Marvel Rivals leading up to this trailer reveal, because now you're just creating momentum for this brand, for these characters, and now you're going to get people to go to comic book shops and read comic books about the Fantastic Four. So I love that, and I love what they're doing in terms of that. The only mistake their marketing department is doing is not incorporating me more into the marketing for Marvel properties. So we just have to keep spamming at Marvel that let the MontyVerse do Marvel stuff. And I think then their marketing will be pitch perfect, 100%. But beyond that, what's really cool about this shot is it kind of reinforces the emphasis on family that this trailer has, right? This whole trailer is built around the core aspect of the Fantastic Four in the comic books, and that is that they're a family. They're unlike many other superhero teams of their time, in that they're built solely around the foundation of their familial bond. So to see this shot here, perfectly encapsulating how in sync they are, how together they are. I don't know what's going on. It looks like maybe the beginning of the third act. They're coming together again. Ben, look at this guy. He's just so handsome. Look at this fit. So well dressed. Love him. But yeah, I love that. And then this shot, man, nothing's in order because I did not organize anything. But damn, this shot of Johnny flying into the stratosphere, going past the oxygen barriers of the ozone layer of the Earth, is so cinematic and so gorgeous. I really love that they're pushing the visual boundaries of the MCU in this trailer. I think Shakman was such an inspired choice to direct this film, and I think that he's leaving it all on the mat. I think he's taking risks. I think he's reintroducing a new visual aesthetic for the entire Marvel universe. And I hope every director they hire is taking notice. And I hope Marvel in general is taking notice, because of how well received the visuals in this trailer were. And now that we know they have the capabilities and the desire to make movies that look this good, that should be the standard going forward. This should be our standard from here on out. We need to make movies that have as much visual identity as this film does. The phase 1, 2, and 3 films, they looked similar. That's fine, because we were building to something. But now that we already built, now we can do that. And again, they had started doing that, right? They had started doing that with the Eternals. People didn't really like that. People pushed back on that. And now that Shakman's doing it with the Fantastic Four again, I think this will be more well-received. And I think that'll give them the courage to continue to do that, to continue to push boundaries visually for the MCU, because I personally love the Eternals. I'm a huge Eternals defender. And I think that the way that that movie pushed visual boundaries, I don't think the MCU audience was ready for that. And there were a lot of people that were preying on Marvel's downfall when that movie came out. So you had a lot of people kind of wanting that film to fail, and they kind of got their wish. By no means was it a failure. And I don't think it is the worst film in the MCU. I love the Eternals, but I think that it got enough backlash that it made Marvel kind of put the brakes on their exploration phase. And what better group than the explorers of the Marvel Universe to reintroduce us to that exploration phase of the Marvel visual look? And man, as you can see, we're going to keep getting better visuals as we keep going. That's Johnny. Just Johnny being Johnny. That's just so me-coded right there. I just love the spread. Just like, he's just like not a care in the world. Just shows that he's just doing his thing. He's vibing. He's just a guy. Ugh. Their love story is going to define generations. Like, the chemistry that this whole cast has is incredible. Just watching Pedro Pascal just cradle Ebon Moss-Bachrach this morning during the live stream, when they're like telling them, like, no, guys, we got to hurry this up. We only have like 3 minutes before we have to start the trailer, like, get on stage. And he's just like slapping hands with everyone in the crowd, and he's hugging his cast. And it just shows the connection and the chemistry that they have. And I just love this. Like, they're so good together. They're so good together. What's up, Nate? What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. I'm just rambling. And talking about, oh my God, this. Like, and this is why we have to kind of discuss, is this really bad CGI? And the answer is no, it's not, because this is a 4K shot. And let's really look at this. Let's really look at how this looks. Let's look at his face. Let's look at this beautiful orange face. It's not bad CGI. I think it just might be a lot of people's visual preference for the thing. A lot of people don't understand how he's supposed to look like in the comic books, and that's okay. You don't have to like it, but I think that, come on, like, look, like, you could even see the cloth, like the textures on the cloth of the costume, like this part, which is very sweatery, very cottony. Like, it roll. I love how, because this happens a lot to me with turtlenecks. Like, it looks like it was a turtleneck and then just rolled onto itself, because turtlenecks suck. But like look at this. Look at how much detail. Like, look at the lining. You can see like the lint, like little lint on this part of the costume. The texture on the rock. Guys, I just like, this is good CGI. This is fantastic CGI. Not just good. It's fantastic. Look at his eyes. Look at this blue-eyed, handsome devil here. It's just really good. But that's the thing, right? It's a dude made of rocks. But if a dude made of rocks existed in real life, that's what he would look like. And it's so weird to me, because people are so more willing to accept Korg than they are the Thing. Like, people are more accepting of Korg's CGI, when I think this CGI looks better than the CGI on Korg. So it's just weird. I think it's nitpicky. I think, if anything, it's just people projecting, because Korg is a nobody character, right? And no one knew anything about him. So no one really projected what they wanted him to look like when we first saw him. But then you have someone who's iconic, who's as heavily loved, beloved as the Thing, and everyone has their favorite version of the Thing. So that when you see this and he doesn't look exactly the way you want him to look, people are just like, I don't know if I like the way that looks. And that's okay. As long as we could say, like, I just don't like the way it looks, instead of that's bad CGI. Because I mean, go look at bad CGI and then look at this. It's just good CGI, and they're still not even done yet. We're still months out from this movie, so it's only going to get better, which is crazy because that looks really good to me. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone else is right. Who knows? Oh, damn. I just noticed this, guys. Exclusive. I think this is where Herbie's batteries go. I don't know. It just looks like odd toys when you just like unscrew the back, and this is where like the battery port is. So that begs the question, is Herbie run on, what kind of batteries does Herbie run on? That we're asking the hard questions here, guys. I don't know about you. Great shot, because this is something else I wanted to talk about. Damn it. I'm sorry. Can you guys let me know what the one opinion is? And then we'll all jump on board and we'll all just agree with that one opinion from here on out. Because that would be great for me. But this is a great shot. And this is something I want to talk about. Respect. Respect. I kind of like that answer. Exactly 18 AA batteries. Makes sense. You know? But one, I think this is the Baxter building. This is inside the Future Foundation. This is Reed's lab. What's really cool about this, going beyond like the stuff that's on this blackboard, right? Because we have the multiversal bridge. We know he's experimenting with the alternate universes and the multiverse theory and all of that. What's really interesting is that people, I don't know if it's the next one. Yes, it is the next shot, which is great. Which is great because we're going to talk about Reed right now in the trailer. So a lot of, and it's not really a complaint, but something that people said about Reed in the trailer was that Reed was not really shown using his powers. We saw all of the other members of the Fantastic Four using their abilities. We saw Sue having these bioluminescent force fields. We saw Johnny flame on. We obviously the Thing is just a walking power set at this point. He wears his powers on his sleeve. But everyone's like, I really wish that we saw Reed be stretchy because Reed be stretchy, you know? And I argue back that we did see Reed use his main power in this trailer, because the one thing that people don't understand about Mr. Fantastic, and I'd love to enlighten you, is that Reed's superpower was never his stretchiness, was never his ability to stretch and make his body malleable and change shapes. That was never Reed's ability. Reed's main power set has always been his intelligence. It's always the main thing that Reed utilizes. It's just being elastic is just a bonus for him, right? It's just kind of something that he does. That's not the driving force behind the character. It's not something that is important to him at all. The main draw to Reed is his constantly trying to solve problems, trying to solve the world's problems. He's always trying to better the world. Not too dissimilar from how the MCU has portrayed Tony Stark, but Tony Stark's more of a futurist. He's always thinking about the future, whereas Reed's just trying to solve everything and anything that he possibly can. His mind is vast. And that's the ability we see him use in this trailer, and that's why they focus on these shots like this and shots like this, as opposed to seeing him stretch, because stretching is nothing. And I kind of love that that's what I think they're trying to tell us in this trailer. And it shows a fundamental understanding of the character of Reed Richards that we have not seen yet in the films, because I think the films just kind of use him as smart, stretchy guy. And they don't really delve into the nuances of his character, the toxicity, the good traits of him. And Reed is a very complex and interesting character when examined properly. And I don't think we've really done that in any of the films. Yeah, he will. Man, I was on this wonderful podcast that existed before this movie was cast, called the Fantastic Four podcast. two amazing people were the hosts, and you basically would have to pitch your version of the Fantastic Four for the director of that week, and you would have to pitch that director's version of the MCU's Fantastic Four. And in one of my pitches, because I was on there multiple times, I had Reed use the disguise of different iterations of Reed Richards, including Miles Teller. So yeah, I hope that they do something like that, because that would be super funny for me. But moving on. Ben lamenting on his past life, on everything that he's lost, everything that he was. We see this obviously on the TV screen when he's kind of looking back, looking at the report of the Fantastic Four, and we're going to dive more into that as we get to those shots. You have Sue, Vanessa Kirby, what a visage. Reed, again, having family dinner. I love that. It's so old school. It's so, like, it's something that, like, families of the time did, nuclear families of the time did, right? It's something my family did my entire life. We had dinner together every single night. It's something so beautiful, and something so simple like that can add so much to the storytelling for this film. They did. They showed a lot, but again, like, they showed a lot without showing anything, right? Because they showed a lot visually, and they showed that and I think they did that to let people know that they are in full control of this movie. The movie succeeded in how they planned to shoot it visually. I think the bold aesthetic they chose for the film worked out extremely well, and they're very confident in that, which is why they're doubling down on it in the promotion. I think even the press release was like had the visual of like being hand typed on a typewriter, which is really cool, like an old school memo. And I love that. They're really doubling down. Tomorrow. Well, technically we reacted to it on Sunday, but the video is dropping tomorrow. It's been we have it ready to go, but I didn't want to post it today. I wanted to focus on the Fantastic Four today. I think that trailer deserved to have as much time as possible to kind of gestate on the channel before we drop another video. But yeah, it's coming tomorrow. Don't worry. We didn't forget about you guys. The Baxter Building. The Baxter Building. And I think it's really cool, right? Because the Baxter Building in this universe looks very visually similar to Avengers Tower in the 616 universe of the MCU. And I think that's supposed to represent that the Fantastic Four are the main superheroes in this universe, the way the Avengers were the main superheroes of Earth in that universe. And I think that the design choice for the Baxter Building was done very intentionally to kind of represent that. And it just looks really cool. I just love the marketing. Whoever the design team that Reed Richards hired really knocked it out of the park. Color-wise, the big four up there. The Future Foundation has some great marketing people. We might, we very much might. It's funny enough, it's definitely a part of the Fantastic Four's character that they were famous and that they are celebrities, especially early on. So I think that we may very well get a montage of that as we're learning more about the history of the Fantastic Four. In that big montage where we kind of see them fighting past villains, I think we may get that too, to kind of catch us up on the present day of the team. And then the montage will end with them fighting the Giganto in the middle of Manhattan. I think that's what we might be doing. But I do think that will be shown. Hopefully. I don't know. Or maybe I know that they shot some stuff only for that promo, but it might make it into the movie. This. We're going to talk about this because, and again, it's going to sound redundant, but I think that this is a really smart visual choice for the movie. Again, Matt Shakman's making a lot of bold visual choices to tell this story, right? And to show Sue's power as this kind of like bioluminescent refracting light, it not only does it make sense and a brilliant way to show invisibility, because invisibility is just like moving light around to appear invisible. And I think it will help Sue stand out, not only from different versions of Sue Storm that we've seen before that just show kind of invisibility as like bubbles, which I thought was pretty boring, because Sue's power set is really interesting. And I hope they play with the different visual abilities that Sue can utilize, especially her force fields and not just her invisibility. But I really love this because not only will it help her stand out from other versions of Sue, it will also help her stand out from other versions, from other Marvel heroes in the big team up fight scenes, right? In like Avengers and imagine Endgame if you had the heroes that we have now in the MCU that have these all really unique visual powers, like a Shang-Chi or like a Sue Storm and a Johnny Storm. And so you can kind of see them in the battle in the background doing their thing, and you could visually immediately recognize their abilities because it's so unique. What is up, K20? Guys, K20, just an amazing guy. Fantastic. He's going to get me a hat in time for Go Zoojer. He promised it. So if he doesn't, you have to go on his page and yell at him. But yeah, we're going to talk about the suits. Oh my God, guys, this shot of the old big purple head Galactus, his big old stupid head. I love it. Nothing was more disappointing than walking into Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer and seeing Galactus represented as a cloud. Because one of the coolest things about 1960s comic books is how they weren't afraid to get weird and to do really weird things, very creative, weird things, like making one of the most powerful beings in the entire universe a giant purple guy. And I love how in the year 2025, we are finally getting Galactus as a giant purple guy. There is finally justice in this universe because, listen, this is scary. This is going to be horrifying to see this on screen, especially visually represented like this. And a lot of people are like, Galactus looks small here. Like in terms of the scale, he looks a little small. He's not big enough. I don't think people realize Galactus can change his shape and mass. Like he can appear bigger and smaller at will. He's kind of very powerful. So if you're worried about him being small, I think he's just doing this to kind of flex on Reed, to kind of walk his way to the Baxter building, which I don't even know if we could see it in the skyline here. No, I don't think so. But I think he's going to just like walk his way to the Baxter building and confront Reed face to face. I think that would be pretty cool and badass. But yeah, Purple Guy Galactus. I love the tease. I love how we didn't get the full-on look because that's a money shot. You need to save that for at least trailer 3 because we know Marvel's going to spoil that. But I love just the little tease. And it's kind of letting you know that we're doing Purple Guy. We're doing the big purple man. We're doing big purple head, big purple helmet. Don't worry, we're not doing Cloud. And I love that. They're like, don't worry, we got this. This shot, right? And I love the dialogue that accompanies this shot because it follows a scene of Reed lamenting and Reed saying like, man, things were different back then. Johnny wasn't being lit on fire. Ben wasn't made of rocks. And it touches on the guilt that Reed has, right? Reed, for how better the lives of the Fantastic Four and the people of Earth are for having the Fantastic Four be the heroes they are, Reed is always going to hold himself guilty and accountable for essentially destroying his friends and family's lives. Because he knows that while they do good, this isn't the life they would have chose, most likely. Maybe Johnny. But he will never forgive himself for that. And there's even like a major retcon that happened in the comics a while back where Reed carried so much guilt for it that because in the original Fantastic Four issue 1, Reed basically like pushes them into the spotlight and pushes them into the roles of heroes to kind of deflect from the fact that they are these all-powerful beings. And the comics, modern comics, did a slight retcon that explained that he was playing it up and he was being hammy and campy to make the Fantastic Four appear harmless in the eyes of the people and the government and a lot of other powers in the world so that they weren't treated bad. So his friends and family weren't treated badly or experimented on or made out to be monsters. So before the public could turn on them, he went into full PR mode and he created these personas, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, the Thing, the Human Torch, because he wanted to give them, like he wanted them to be like circus acts in a way. He basically gave them the whole P.T. Barnum treatment. He wanted the public to see them as like these performers, these big, larger than life characters, so that they would view them as heroes and not monsters. And it's essentially like a moment where he's talking to his son, saying like, yeah, maybe, you know, a guy would go through all of this just so that his family wouldn't be treated like monsters. And I think there's something so interesting about that I hope they tackle in this movie, because who would go around calling themselves Mr. Fantastic? Because that's not very Reed. It's not very modern Reed, you know? He wouldn't call himself Mr. Fantastic. And so I think that retcon was good to justify like the weirdness of that. It's just like, I did this because it's silly and it's stupid, but it makes people view us as harmless. And there's something so brilliant about that really stuck with me when I read it. Exactly. You know, he didn't want them to be persecuted like the X-Men, like, you know, the mutants are in the Marvel universe. Least we forget that his child is a mutant. So, you know, it's persecution that he's all too familiar with. But that's what I really love. And the posters for this. Are we already at the posters? Did we miss things? No, okay. We still have some stuff left. But yeah, I just love the overall visual design of these posters. The marketing team is absolutely killing it. And again, this is also touching on that, right? Celebrating the Fantastic Four. And now I'm just remembering something that Jesse had said a while back about like the dating show. And the reason why I'm thinking about like the celebrity of the Fantastic Four, and, you know, like right here, celebrating the Fantastic Four, is because I was reading a Fantastic Four story not too long ago called Fantastic Four Life Story, which is a reinvention of the characters. And it's basically like, what if the Fantastic Four were created in the 1960s and they aged in real time? So as the years went by, they aged in our time and not comic book time. So they actually did grow with the years and the decades. And I think it's a really fascinating story that condenses the history of the Fantastic Four into 6 issues. And they really play up the fact that they were treated like celebrities when they were first introduced in issue 1. So there's something really cool about that. And I highly recommend it. It's not my favorite Fantastic Four story, but if you're just getting into Fantastic Four comics and you're looking for something to kind of give you a bit of lore, that's definitely something I'd highly recommend. But moving on, like, I love this. I absolutely love this. Like, such a bold choice. And then here, wait, what is this? You know what? This is the first time I'm actually clocking the fridge. What a fantastic fridge. Nikki, can we get one? Can we get this fridge in the house? Reed, Marvel, can you send me one of these fridges? Because that is one of the coolest looking fridges I've ever seen. And again, it's just like the design aesthetic. And there's such a, I guess we could talk about it now because we're kind of, I'm a little all over the place today. I really haven't gathered my thoughts. I'm kind of just word vomiting, but that's what's so fun about this. Like, look at the lighting, look at the clock, look at the shapes on the uniform of the Fantastic Four. Look at Herbie's eyes. Look at Herbie's shape, egg-shaped overall, and then look at the fridge. Right, we're working with a circular and oval design aesthetic, very rounded, very harmless, very non-aggressive, very circular, which I think is really cool because that like a circle is representative of a wedding ring and it's representative of a bond, right? It's that bond that of matrimony, that circle of life in a way. So I think the round design aesthetic fits so well with the Fantastic Four because this movie is emphasizing that bond, that circle, that circular bond between these 4 characters. If you look at the first poster, which we have somewhere, oh man, what a shot, guys. Oh, here's the money shot. We're gonna have to go back to that. Where's that first poster? I know I have it somewhere. Forgive me, guys. I don't know. It's somewhere in here. Let's see. Somewhere towards the beginning, hopefully. No, it's not. Okay, I'll find it. Give me a second. There we go. I found it. All right. Here we go. We're going back. We're going back in. Because going back to the this poster that was released yesterday, right? It's a circle with the 4 of their names inside of it, representing the closeness of the group, because they are a family. Not only is this representing that in the most simplistic way possible, but it also is reinforced numerous times throughout that trailer. It's really pushed the fact that they are a family. That the word family is used in that trailer almost as much as a Fast and Furious movie. So it's really emphasizing that fact. And I think the circular designs littered throughout their version of New York are definitely playing into that idea. Whereas life is a circle, family is a circle. We're all connected, and it's all just all connected onto each other. And I really, really love that. And the simplicity in the designs carries so much weight, and it tells such a story. And I think that's the brilliance of Matt Shakman's visual look, right? Because he did the same thing in WandaVision. He kept things so simple, but everything had so much meaning. It's so, so crazy. But let's see, is there anything else we missed? Because if not, then we'll kind of just field questions. Oh, the suits. We got to talk about this really quick before we kind of field questions and wind it down. But because man, how can you be a fan of the Fantastic Four and not absolutely love these freaking suits? Look at these things. They are ripped straight out of the Fantastic Four comic books, very specifically the John Byrne era of the Fantastic Four, which kind of reinvented the look of the Fantastic Four for a new era and gave them this little white accent on all of their suits, which Sue is wearing essentially the classic Byrne suit. Everyone had essentially this version, except Ben, who basically just wore trunks all the time. This is the first time we've seen Ben fully clothed, which is fun. Good for Ben. This Ben is very dapper. Ben likes to be. He doesn't like to show off his physique, you know. And listen, that's very cool. Another very cool thing, right? Mods, can we get rid of this guy? What's up, Jacoby? But yeah, talking about these suits, another cool aspect is it's almost like there's a ranking system to the suits as well. If there's a visual language to these suits, definitely, and it's the amount of white on each suit. And I think that's a ranking dynamic. It's also a numbering dynamic, and it also gives each member of the Fantastic Four a different visual look, right? Because if you look at Reed has no white collar, no white aesthetics outside of the belt, boots, and gloves. And then Sue, you introduce this little oval of white here, which is the classic Byrne look, ripped straight out of the comic books. Vanessa Kirby absolutely rocking this. But then you move on to the Thing, and the white spreads down the arm. It goes down to the bicep. So you have the white that goes from nothing to shoulders, now to elbows. And then you have Johnny, where the white almost connects to his gloves, goes even further down the arm, like almost in a Nightwing style, like the Nightwing blue look. But each suit progressively adds more white in the same direction. So it definitely shows like a ranking system to the Fantastic Four, where this is number one. This is lead guy in charge. This is the Mr. Fantastic. Then you have the Invisible Woman, who's number 2. You have the muscle of the group, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing, as number 3. And then you have Johnny, everyone's favorite hothead, at number 4. And I think the suits have a visual language that kind of tell you that without having to say that out loud. And I think that's why this trailer stuck out to me. I think it's telling us so much without really telling us anything at all. And that, to me, is the brilliance of this trailer. And these suits, just the littlest little thing like that, is telling me so much about each character. And it's crazy. And I absolutely love these. These suits are crazy. As many people have pointed out, something that caught my eye as a fan of music, the stage setting that they're on is very, very, very closely associated with a stage used by the Beatles during the British invasion of rock and roll music, during their rise to popularity. So it really shows how big of a celebrity the Fantastic Four has in their universe. They are essentially the most celebrated people on the planet at this time. And I think having that visual language to show that is good storytelling. It's good visual storytelling. And in movies, you rely heavily on visual storytelling. And it's just really great. But there's actually one more thing I want to touch on because I know we didn't go into full detail on the thing. So I want to get that still shot of him from the trailer if I could. Ben lamenting. I don't know if I have the still of it here, but we'll see. If not, we'll pull up the trailer itself and we'll kind of go through it again. But yeah, they're new. I don't know if you ever heard of the new sound, like really experimental, but maybe you go look them up. She got the Dragon Shield Jr. From Toys R Us. She got the American Dragon Shield. She didn't get the one from Japan. That's the one that she got. But all right, let's pull this. Let's pull this trailer back up and watch it again. Just joking. No, but we're gonna watch it again. Oh wow, actually, did I cut it? Did I clip it? I did clip it. Look at me, I'm so smart, guys. Let's do it. Okay, so one thing that really struck out with me about Ben, and it's something that I'm really excited to see them do. Is that this scene right here? Like it's such a strong moment, right? It tells you everything you need to know about this character without knowing anything at all. And this is just a 5-second clip, less, maybe like a 4-second clip from a 1-minute 43-second trailer. And it tells me that they completely understand the character of the Thing. Because one, I hope this is Yancey Street. I hope he's walking down Yancey Street trying to, revisit his past, come to terms with his past. Because the Thing is a very intrinsically tragic character. The Thing is tragic in the sense of that Ben struggles with his identity so much and his looks so much throughout his time. He feels like he is a monster. He feels like he is this tragic persona. And can you really blame the guy? He did not ask for this. He did not ask for this life. He did not ask to be a hero. He did not ask to have his entire world flipped upside down. But he did. And he's trying to make the best of it, as a lot of us do, which is why he's such an important character. But despite, I know a lot of people say, but why is the Thing so sad? He's a celebrity. People love him. We saw earlier in the trailer that these kids, they wear his costume. Like, kids love him and they celebrate him. He's a celebrated figure in this world. And that's what's so real about the Thing. Is no matter how loved, beloved, or celebrated he is, it's that he will never truly love himself. He has his journey is a journey of self-love and of self-discovery. And Alicia Masters is a huge part of that. And that's what makes the character of the Thing so tragic, right? It's that the whole world can love him and the whole world can celebrate him for being a hero, but he will never love himself. And that is so sad and so tragic. But despite all of that, despite those very serious internal struggles that he deals with, he is still one of the greatest people you will ever meet. He is still one of the kindest, gentlest souls you will ever see. He has the literal exterior of rocks. He is a rock to that family, which is very representative of his power set. Sue even says it in the trailer. Ben's always been a rock. He is the rock that they all lean on, that keeps them all going. But he will never truly learn to love himself unless he can get there. And that's the tragedy. That's the truest tragedy of the Thing, and why I love him so much as a character, because he has such a realness to him. Not only that, but he's an allegory for Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby created the Thing using so much of himself that there's this real beauty and realness to Ben, because Ben is a lot of the parts that make up Ben are real. They are Jack Kirby. Ben grew up on the fictional Yancey Street because Jack Kirby grew up on Delancey Street in Manhattan. You know, his names, two of his names come from Jack Kirby. His middle name, Benjamin Jacob Grimm. The Jacob is Jack Kirby's name. That comes from Jack Kirby. So there's so much of Jack in Ben. So the fact that they're basing Ben's look on Jack Kirby and they're staying true to his Yancey Street upbringing shows that they're trying to do right by Jack Kirby and the character, and that means a lot to me as a lifelong celebrator of comic books and a fan of the Fantastic Four, because that's the beauty of these characters. Stan and Jack put a lot of love into them, and to see that celebrated on screen for the first time truly is going to be special. It's going to be fantastic. But that's my rant. You guys, sound off in the comments. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about anything else? Now that we're done with the Fantastic Four, we don't have to strictly talk about the Fantastic Four, but if you have Fantastic Four questions, or you want to hear me talk about the Fantastic Four, or you have any, or you want me to give you recommendations on Fantastic Four stuff, like, let me know. Just we'll hang out for a little bit, and if no one's got any questions, we'll jump off. But I'm sure you guys have some questions. I'm sure you're hanging out with me. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about what do you want to talk about? Boys' night. Nikki's not here. What do you guys want to talk about? 31 years since the best Fantastic Four. You're talking about 1994's The Fantastic Four. That movie was the best Fantastic Four movie for a very long time, up until probably 2025. So you're not wrong. I'm actually not. I love that movie. I think they tried their best. With no budget and a dream, they tried. And they succeeded in a lot of ways. They failed in way more, but they succeeded in a lot of ways. Oh, it's so fantastic. It's so fantastic. That's fantastic. But what's up, dude? I'm so glad to see you in here. I was actually just watching. It's so crazy here. I was just watching earlier today Jem's video, the Boom Boomger video, where you guys did the Boom Boomger more. So if you guys want to go check out some amazing people, do some really cool henshins and morphs, go check out Prawnhorn Studios over on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all over the place. Go check them out because they're doing some fun stuff. And pretty soon, you may see me and Nikki in one of those videos. Spoiler alert, not really a spoiler because I did post it on the socials, but we're going to be in one of those videos soon. So me and two of them. So, you know, and I may or may not be using a screen used Power Ranger morpher in one of them. Maybe, maybe not. But stay tuned for that. All right, guys, what else we got? There's 95 of you watching right now. Does anyone have any other questions about the Fantastic Four before we head out? No? Okay. Well, what do you guys want to talk about? Maybe give me a topic. What do you guys want to talk about? While you have me here, while I'm live, while I'm doing it. What? Wait, what did you say? Say that again? My God, I can't. Yes. I heard he's going to have not only 5-finger lasers on each hand, but also 5-finger toes, lasers on each toe. So he's going to have 10 lasers for each appendage. You heard it here first. Exclusive. MontyVerse scoop. You can quote me on that. I won't back it, but you can definitely quote me on it. Invincible. Listen, I'm going to watch Invincible. Iron, you asked further up. I'm just remembering now if I was hyped for it. I am excited, and I do really want to watch it. But I feel like Invincible has a big problem, and I feel like Invincible lost a lot of momentum in between seasons 1 and 2 because of the long wait time. And not only was there a long wait for season 2, but then you split season 2 in half, creating more of a gap. Not only that, but season 2 didn't really have the same punch, and that's just based off of where they are in the comic books during season 2. It didn't have the same punch that season 1 did. So I think season 3 has the punches that were missing in season 2, but the show has lost a lot of steam, and the animation has definitely dropped in quality to try and keep up, to not have as big of breaks. But I am definitely excited, and I will be watching Invincible. It is a great show. I love Steven. I love the cast. So yes, I will be watching. There's some big. Yeah, we will be. I'm guessing that's you saying you want me to kind of promote that. We will be, as you guys know, we started a major journey last year. We watched our first Sentai series, Boom Boomjer. It comes to an end this Sunday. It's the final episode of our first Super Sentai series, and I'm really proud of us. We didn't miss a single episode. We didn't miss a single week. We gave you guys reactions every week for a year, for 48 weeks. You know, besides the break weeks that the show actually had, we were giving you stuff every week. So, you know, we're really excited. We're going to do a big live stream post finale, probably on that Monday, to kind of celebrate the show and look back on our journey with the first Sentai series. So that's definitely something that you can look forward to. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Would it be weird if Marvel did another Spider-Man movie? It would be weird if they just did it out of nowhere, right? It would be weird if they kind of just did it while Tom Holland's Spider-Man was still going on. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see their Earth's version of Spider-Man, right? Or maybe like a Peter Parker that works at the Future Foundation to kind of represent the fact that Peter was one of the founding members of the Future Foundation in the comic books. That would be kind of cool. But to get that kind of 1960s Spider-Man aesthetic, you can you can kind of watch My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which definitely gives off that 1960s Lee Ditko Spider-Man vibes. So if you're kind of looking for that in a Spider-Man series, go back to that, or also watch Spectacular Spider-Man, which to me is the best on-screen representation of those early 60s Spider-Man comics. So I think it would be weird to just do it out of nowhere. They'd have to set it up. Yes, we've seen a ton of movies. We've actually dropped 3 reviews in the month of January alone. We reviewed Companion on the channel, we reviewed Wolfman on the channel, and we just reviewed Hard Eyes, which comes out next week on the channel. All those reviews are up. You can go watch them now on the channel. Maybe I'll go back and I'll put a link somewhere over here. But yes, we did see those. Really loving this year in film so far. Companion's fantastic. To have a movie that is that amazing this early in the year has me very, very optimistic for what movies will follow. And Hard Eyes, what a great film too. Like back-to-back fantastic horror-esque movies. Really excited. We're going to, obviously next week is Captain America, or a week and a half from now is Captain America. So that's going to be on the channel. And we have a ton more other stuff that we're going to be reviewing this year. So many good films. But yeah, stay on the channel if you are into our movie reviews. We're going to be constantly doing way more reviews this year on here. And we're going to do some type. We're working on a new website to kind of drop typed reviews. So you guys should stay posted for that and check out more reviews there. But, you know, we got that, and we got anything. And we're also going to be talking movies more on live streams. We're going to live stream more. That's definitely a goal for us in 2025. We're definitely going to be doing more prepared live streams with me and Nikki. Not really impromptu rant sessions with Monty as tonight was, but that's definitely one of the goals, to talk more movies on there. But good question, dude. Thank you for asking. Almost done. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's really starting to affect me mentally. The show has turned into brain rot, which I love, but it's so weird, right? Because we usually record our Mighty Morphin stuff right after we record Boom Boomjer. So to watch this really nuanced, well-written, well-acted series and then immediately jump into Mighty Morphin Season 3, which is essentially brain rot content, it's so jarring and it's so dizzying. It's honestly pretty crazy, but it's hilarious content for you guys. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. But I'm excited to watch Zeo, because I haven't really revisited or watched a lot of videos on the Zordon era since we started reacting, because I wanted, as we started, I was like, let me be the expert on the channel. But then I was just like, it's more fun if we both enjoy watching it. So I've kind of started trying to purge information from which is impossible. But I'm not going back and constantly reinforcing information on that stuff. So I'm really excited to go back to Zeo because it's not a season I revisit too much, even when I do. Bro, you can always be on. Like if I wasn't already talking for an hour and a half, I would have dropped the link and you can come on. But next time, you could definitely come on. Love to have you. Yeah, that answers that question. K20, where's my hat? That's my question to you. That's a good question, right? Great question. Here's the thing, like I'm not really, if the game is good, I'm excited. Like Wolverine, I think they really had that unfortunate leak where the whole kind of game plot was leaked online. And for me, some of the best parts of those games, like the Spider-Man games, is the storyline and getting to see that play out visually. So I hope they make modifications to the script. Then I would definitely be really hyped to play Wolverine because I love games with fantastic stories. That's why I like the Arkham trilogy. I think the Arkham trilogy function as great superhero games and great superhero stories. And I think the Sony Spider-Man games are some of the best Spider-Man stories of all time. No, good question. If the multiverse was at stake, do you think Reed Richards would ever stop the Boon Boom? Oh, that's Johnny wouldn't. Johnny would never stop the Boon Boom. Ben would not. I would say no. I would say no. Reed would. If any of the Fantastic Four would, it would be Reed. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. In development, there's they were touching. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Voice acting was done. All right, I think they finished voice acting, recording the lines, the dialogue for season 2. So now it's just post-production work. I know they were touching up scripts, changing some stuff around, but we should expect it late. I think they said early 2026. I don't remember, but it's definitely coming. And they're working on 2 and 3 back to back, I think. Good question. That's a good question because if it depends on who you mean by T'Challa, right? If you mean like original recipe T'Challa, then never. T'Challa Jr. I would probably say Black Panther 3. That's happening. I feel like they're going to push Storm in Black Panther 3 and kind of segue her into X-Men that way and kind of segue the audience into the X-Men through Black Panther 3. But we may see Namor meet Sue as early as Doomsday or Secret Wars. So who knows? It's a race against time at this point. What do you mean? What do you mean by this? Okay, I get it. Yeah, it's only MMPR. Only MMPR for 30 years straight. Reed is their net. Wow. I don't answer this question. That's insane. Johnny Storm or John Young Bosch? No comment. I'm not answering that. I can't betray either Johnny. I love both Johnnies so much. I would never do that to either of them. That's insane that you would ask me that. How dare you? I mean, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many times Reed was a villain. A version of Reed is one of my favorite villains in all of Marvel Comics, and that is the Maker. Nick, you should know that. You hear me talk about him all the time. I love the Maker. I love what they're doing with him now. I love how they're using him in the new Ultimate books. So yeah, maybe the Maker will be the next villain of Sentai. R.I.P. Oof, good question. Good questions. Is the cosmic power of Galactus stronger than Tyre's? Here's the thing, right? Because you'd have to look at it this way. Could we stack up enough tires to generate enough power to equate the amount of power that Galactus has? And I mean, if let's put it this way: if Galactus is actively feeding, No. If he's a little hungry, if he's on a diet and he hasn't eaten a planet in a while, I think the tires got him. Boom. Nailed it. My mains on Rivals. Good question. I'm a Star-Lord Lord. I love Star-Lord. I'm a Lord at Star-Lord, and I'm about to Lord Magneto. So there are two characters that I like to play, but I'm very versatile. I've trained myself on a lot of different characters. I'm also pretty close to lording Cloak and Dagger too. But that's my go-to healer just because it is what it is. But unsurprisingly, I like playing Mr. Fantastic. He's definitely a new addition to the game I'm really enjoying. But favorite DPS is definitely Star-Lord. Favorite tank is definitely Magneto. But I can play Cap. I'm also a really good Cap. I like playing Cap a lot of the times. But it's situational, right? Because I don't want to like lock myself into 2 or 3 characters because some situations call for a Cap. Like if your team is stacking a Thor and Storm, you get that Cap because you get that power boost. So, I want to stay as versatile as possible. I don't want to be boxed into certain characters. I want to be able to have a lot of freedom. So, but if I really want to go off, I'll jump on Star-Lord if my team needs a DPS. But I mostly tank as Magneto because no one really wants to play tank. Everyone wants to insta-lock DPS. Yep, that's how it happened. Oh, man. That's a great question. That's a great statement. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. Okay. Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger is great. If you could definitely master the switching, Cloak and Dagger is super dangerous, which is what I like to do. Thor is a super amazing tank. Mantis is a great healer. I've been definitely practicing on Mantis, and Sue is also a great healer. A lot of the healers in the game are good. It's just that you have to kind of learn how to play them because they're very different in terms of how they heal and how to use them. But that's really, you could say that for any characters. Galactica is going to be in Fantastic Four, not Galactus. Well, hurry up and push the vehicle. Push the enemy team is halfway there. That's what we're gonna hear in the background of the movie when Galactus is halfway to Earth. He's gonna be like, Fantastic Four, Galactus is halfway there. My brain is so Rivals coded right now that I'm just slowly losing my mind to Rivals brain rot, like the people in the Fantastic Four chat. But this was a fun stream, guys. If you have any final questions, drop them down below. If not, I'm going to start signing off because I've been talking nonstop for an hour and 32 minutes, and my voice is starting to get hoarse. But this was really fun. I loved kind of just getting to vomit information about Fantastic Four at you guys for like an hour and change, because I do think that's how important and how visually rewarding this trailer was, that there's stuff that people didn't pick up on that I'd like to help people kind of learn and pick up on, because I think this is what more comic book movies need. They need unique visual identities, and they need to get audiences excited again. And the fact that we're doing that with a film that so heavily references the impetus of these characters really has me excited as a comic book fan. I do just want to have fun, bro, let's play. You play too late. You jump on like midnight Western time. That's too late for me. I can't be played at 3 a.m. Oh, that's what, dude, you nailed it. You should have been on here to help me break down the trailer. That makes so much sense. All right, guys, but I think that's going to do it for here. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Make sure to like the video because it does go a long way in pushing us in the algorithm, so all of our videos go on and like them. If you're new to the channel and you liked what I was saying, hit the subscribe button. We have tons more of this content coming. We have our Fantastic Four trailer reaction up on the page already. And until next time, guys, stay versed.